Today's meeting agenda can be found online at www.fortworthtexas.gov. Speaker registration forms must have been turned in prior to the start of the meeting. Today's public hearing is being documented by cable television and video conference recording, which will be available on the city's website.
You need to move the mic.
Oh, can't hear me? Thank you. I'll start over. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the February 11, 2026 Zoning Commission public hearing meeting. Today's meeting agenda can be found online at www.fortworthtexas.gov. Speaker registration forms must have been turned in prior to the start of the meeting. Today's public hearing is being documented by cable television and video conference recording, which will be available on the city's website. Cases heard at this public hearing are to be heard at the March 10th City Council hearing unless otherwise stated on the agenda. To achieve a timely and orderly meeting, the Commission requests that the following rules of procedure be respected. Each case will be called in the sequence listed on the agenda unless otherwise directed by the chair. All ensuing dialogue shall be directed to the Commission only. After staff presentation, the applicant and support will be given a maximum total of 5 minutes to present their case. Opposition may then speak for a maximum total of 7 minutes. At the conclusion of opposition, the applicant will be provided 2 minutes for rebuttal. Those that are not able to speak today are encouraged to submit comments or sign up to speak at City Council. Sign-ups to comment or speak at City Council begin the Friday before the scheduled council hearing. Continuation beyond the speaker's allotted time will be subject to the chairman's sole discretion and approval. All other meeting procedures will adhere to board-adopted rules of procedures to the extent possible. Following the official close of each case hearing, the Commission will remain in open session to discuss and vote upon the item in question. During this time, no further public testimony or commentary will be allowed unless directed by the chair. A closed executive session may be held with respect to the posted agenda items to enable the Commission to receive advice from legal staff as necessary. For additional information on any case on today's agenda, you may contact the Development Services Department by calling area code 817-392-8028. Mr. Chair, will you please call the meeting to order?
Welcome, everybody, to the Wednesday, February 11th, 2026 Zoning Commission meeting. It is 1:08 p.m., and I officially call this meeting to order.
I just realized, did I say the wrong date?
Oh, did you? I didn't notice if you did.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, the first order of business is roll call. The Zoning Commission requires a quorum of 6 members to be present and available for voting. Please be advised that it takes 6 members to approve a zoning case. The following members are present today: Chairperson Rains, Commissioner Mayo, Commissioner Trujillo, Commissioner Welch, Commissioner McCoy, Commissioner Edmonds, Commissioner Robinson, Commissioner Pierce, Commissioner Rogers, and Commissioner Castro. Commissioner Werman is absent today. Mr. Chair, we have a quorum. The next item on the agenda is the staff members present are Stephanie Scott Sims, Lynn Jordan, Dave McCorkadale, Beth Knight, Enrique Alvarez, Laura Ruiz, and Alasia Love. The next item on the agenda is approval of the previous month's minutes.
We are open for a motion or discussion to make any changes to our minutes from January 14th.
Chairman, I move approval of the minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Edmonds and a second by Commissioner Robinson.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Rains.
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce. Aye. Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the Zoning Commission votes to approve the meeting minutes. Next item on the agenda is continued cases. We don't have any at this time. Next, we have new cases. The first item on the agenda is case number ZC-25-185, case manager Lynn Jordan. The site location is at 3800 Dean Road. Owner applicant is MM28 Dean/Joe Passanisi. Request is from K Heavy Industrial to K Heavy Industrial with a conditional use permit for a concrete batch plant, site plan included.
Is the applicant present?
And I'd like to add too that we have not received any letters in support or opposition for this case.
Welcome to the Zoning Commission. If you could state your name and let's hear about your case.
Joe Passanisi. I'm working with the MM Dean group on trying to do something with this property. Due to the location of the rail and the ability to bring in materials, it is a good site to be able to put a batch plant on. There seems to be a pretty significant need for an additional surplus of, or not surplus, but additional supply in the area. And that's why this property is being proposed for that. It's a 28-acre tract of land that was originally a fertilizer plant. They did plant fertilizer there. The group that currently owns it is not using it for anything of that nature. Their idea when they bought it was to ultimately try to do something like this on it with the rail spur access. The 4 acres that we're proposing to pull out to put the batch plant on was designed specifically due to its distance from the houses to the west and to the school down to the south. The goal of putting it there allows for a greater buffer on both sides, and that was part of the reasoning why we went with the shape and the size we did. It is going to require some dirt work because of the pond that's on the property. And that'll be part of what is done, plus the entire surface area of the 4 acres will be asphalted or at least could be chip and sealed. Exactly what we're going to put for the base hasn't been determined exactly, but it is a no dust material that's going to be the goal. As you know, TCEQ requires all kinds of rules and regulations, and every one of the plants that they have done have all met those requirements. And this one will as well. Will follow all the air quality standards and regulations. There'll be a job site, a check-in trailer. This particular drawing doesn't show the access going all the way up to Dean Road. We're proposing to come in up at the corner of Dean Road and Terminal so that the amount of traffic going out Terminal is better and going on Dean Road, not having anything that would go through the subdivision. It would all be on those two major arteries. We have, there'll be a check-in point there, and the property will be fenced as well as have lights and security, but nothing that is massive and obtrusive like a stadium or anything when we're not going to be infecting the neighbors. Another reason why we wanted to set it so far back was to help reduce the effect that it could have on anybody around us besides the remaining part of the property. I can answer any questions.
Okay, and seeing that we have no one speaking in support or opposition, commissioners, questions for the applicant?
Yeah, what kind of noise or sound is going to be exhausted from that operation?
Typically, the batch plants aren't that loud. They're not massive noise generators. It's not quiet, but they're they're not terribly offensive. I mean, it is, you know, something's there, but it's not obtrusive.
And the perimeter fencing, what, could you describe what, is that going to have some kind of sound protection, or is it just a chain link fence, or?
Um, well, we had talked about a privacy fence, that it would be a, you know, like a wooden privacy fence that would be around the perimeter to help not only with the sound, but with the dust, to minimize the effect on the surrounding property. There's not really any noise dampeners that have been discussed, but if that's something you want us to look at, we can absolutely put that into plans, do a double-sided fence. That would help reduce the noise around. That's something that can be looked at, but has not been at this point.
What is the business just to the south of you?
Are you talking about the buildings that are there
Buildings,
right
yes,
now?
sir. Yes,
Those
sir.
are empty.
Okay.
Yeah, that was where the fertilizer plant was. And that is, that was part of the original 28-acre tract, or is part of the 28-acre tract.
Thank you, sir.
Those are empty. However, on that southern border, there's a school right there where, a lot of kids are. I'd be concerned about, any dust or anything going to the south with the winds.
And if you'll look at the location of the plant versus the fertilizer plant that was there, you're going to be looking at about 1,200 or so feet before it gets to the school. And TCEQ regulations require a minimum of 100 to 200 feet for the stockpiles to be. So at that current location, the angles that we chose to put it up on that part of the property, as opposed to being further south on the property, was partially because of the school, because we didn't want there to be any overflow. And the subdivision, that's about 400 feet, 460 feet over to the west. So the goal is to have it up in that corner to minimize, and it affect predominantly our own property.
What's the anticipated traffic with the vehicles coming in and out, and then what are the hours?
So hours of operation, from what I understand, are required to be from 8 to 5. And that's Monday through Friday. If I'm not mistaken, that's what the city requires for K zoning. The amount of traffic is, we're anticipating 80 to 100 trucks a day, in and out.
Is that a retention pond that you're looking to relocate?
So according to the engineer, it's a low spot. But I think the property will require a retention pond. The overall 28 or 24 remaining will require a detention pond. But at the current time, not knowing what any other use could be for the rest of it, he hasn't said whether or not we need to actually do that when we relocate the property.
That's not indicated on the site plan at all?
Of relocating the pond? No, sir, it's not on basically what, excuse me. Basically what he has, what he's told me is that we can take that area and we can just reshape the property to where we'll have the pond issue will go away, and it will basically be handled through drainage. So, if you feel like that's something we need to address, we can easily add that in. That is not I mean, it's just dirt work. No study has been done on whether it needs to be.
Got a couple of things real quick. One, just for all of us up here on the dais. I've been asked by the AV guys to, if you would pick up your mic and put it up here. They're having trouble hearing you. Just be sure not to touch the on-off button. I've got a question, I think, for staff, just to Commissioner McCoy's point and question. Any kind of drainage study and things like that would all be done in plating process, correct? If there was any of those concerns?
That is correct.
Okay.
But if they haven't replatted it yet, it wouldn't have been looked at for this request, correct?
That is correct.
So there could be negative impacts that could get approved that would affect drainage due to that pond being filled in before they replat it.
If I may, Chair, or Commissioner, there are comments in there from Stormwater related to that when they plat that they will have to show that.
Thank you.
And we're prepared to do those kind of things if that's what it takes. I mean, but there's no point in doing it until we know if it's even an option or not. So that was the logic why we didn't do those parts yet.
Mr. Passanini, if I may, just a couple quick questions. Um, We had some good questions from the commissioners about a fence, but I didn't hear really an answer that I understood. When you look at it like an oil and gas site, we talk about a privacy fence. We can be talking about a fence that's 20 feet tall, you know, for noise abatement. Could you just be a little more specific, because I'm concerned about that issue, the distance from this to the residential area to the west. During the workshop, I really didn't get an answer on what is the distance between this site, the edge of your site, and the residences. Do you know the answer?
I do. From the edge of my property, sorry, not my property, from the edge of the property to the edge of the first property owned by a resident, you're looking at 360 feet. From the edge of my property to the plant is approximately 100 feet. So it's 460 feet from where the plant would be to the closest house to the west. Now, that is based off of the engineer's numbers that he has given me. In response to your question that you asked downstairs, I contacted him to make sure I had that answer for you. So it is 100 feet to the edge of our property, and then, sorry, the edge of the 4 acres. And then it's from the edge of the 4 acres all the way to the edge of the neighbor across the street. It's 360. So 460 feet to the west of the property. And I think you also pointed out that the winds blow predominantly from the north to the south in that area, which means that the area going from the plant would be going towards the school area, as the councilman pointed out, which when we put the plan together on it, that was part of the original plan, was to put it on this north end of the property to eliminate to maximize the distance down to the school. Because that far, almost 1,200 feet from the edge of our property down to the schools, to the beginning of the school property. And then once you get to the school property, it's another 100 feet to the parking. And then from there, you go through the parking before you get over to where the school is, and then an additional. So I'd say we're probably 1,500 feet from where the kids will be playing from the edge of the 4 acres.
And back to the other question, which is the line of sight. Looks like there's no topographic map, but looks like it's a level piece of land pretty much in that area.
Predominantly, yeah. Yeah, it's just got those 2 little weird swells on it where water stands. But other than that, it's pretty much just a flat piece of property. And that's why we had proposed putting a fence on the edge of the 4 acres to help reduce any line of sight issues. And a 6 or 8 foot privacy fence is what we would be putting, is what the standard would be when we would do something like this. But those details could be changed, especially once we start getting into the platting and figuring out exactly what it is that the city is going to require for the overall operation.
Well, thanks for being so well prepared.
I try.
So will there be a fence around the entire batch plant itself to keep it secured, being that there's a school there?
Yes, all 3 sides of the property will have a batch plant, and there will be a check-in point with a security office at the gate that you come in on. If you look at the drawing at the top corner, there's that 26-foot wide allowed drive coming in there. That goes all the way out to Dean Road, but there'll be an actual gate at that point that will be closed when it's not in operation. And we will have a security guy on site, and we'll have the lighting on the interior of the job.
Have you guys proactively reached out to the school at all just to get their feedback?
So I did, but I never heard back from anybody. I did try to reach out to them. I also tried to reach out to the neighborhood communities, and I got no response from any of them. So I took that as a positive, but I mean, I have no way of knowing what their thoughts are. Nobody got back to me.
Yeah.
We are anticipating that this job site will create a number of jobs. I think we had said, yeah, thank you. The 35 to 40 jobs is what we're projecting on this job site with the salaries of 50 to 65,000, somewhere in that area. So it'll help a little bit in the community, but it is also talking about doing an average revenue if they hit that 80 to 100 loads of 30 to 60 million per year. So, and I don't know how much of that the city goes and gets. I didn't take it that far in my preparation, so I apologize for that. But those are the numbers that when we were putting together the proposal.
Well, I appreciate you attempting to get a hold of the neighbors and the school. And I think most of our comments are around concern for the neighbors, the A5 surrounding, and the school as well, the safety of the people that live and go to school around there. And I appreciate you being prepared to answer some of those questions. One question I had is around the TCEQ part of it, because they're obviously the ones that regulate all of that stuff, the stuff that we're probably not prepared to ask questions about. But have you already applied for an application through them, or is that going to happen after this, depending on whether this is approved or denied?
We have an approved application from TCEQ. We did that before to make sure that there was even a point of going forward. Because if they had an issue with it, then we wouldn't be doing this.
Okay.
So that was step one. This is step two. Step three is going to be putting a site plan together. The type of plant that we're talking about putting out there is a is a minimal dust plant. It's a really good for this kind of an area where there are potentially, I'm Italian, I talk with my hands, where there are potentially neighbors that could be affected. So you really try to go with I think it's called a Vince Hagen plant is the type that they're talking about putting out there. It's not the highest volume kind of plant. It's not one of those big, massive Midlothian, creators of death and doom. This is to make concrete for us to use. It's not the highest volume. That's another reason why we wanted to show the numbers, is because it is a mid-range size plant.
Okay, appreciate it. Yeah, we understand that you've got to have these sites, and I know developers like them nearer to sites where they're going to use them. Moving that stuff's expensive. We get that. We also want to balance that with making sure that folks are safe. So I appreciate
Absolutely.
you addressing that. Any other questions, commissioners?
I have one quick question. What are the proposed operating hours?
8 to 5 is what the K zoning allows, and that's what they're planning on doing. That is the only thing that's been discussed in my presence, is doing that, and that's what we've presented. That's what we're proposing, is 8 to 5 operating hours.
Thank you. All right, any more questions? All right, thank you very much for your testimony. At this time, I'll close the public hearing and leave it open for some more discussion up here or a motion by Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes, I think my biggest concerns are regarding the noise buffer with the houses being, 360 feet away from the property line. If we had some kind of better buffer in place on the site plan, such as trees and things to, knock down that noise, that would give us a better feeling of it. And then, also having that school to the south, we don't know for sure, what the winds are going to carry, as well as, just the security of that facility that close to a, school, and kids are curious. So unless it's 100% fenced off, kids will find a crack. They're not going to go up to the security guard.
Is the noise any louder than all of these railroad tracks that go right next to the school, the neighborhood, and this property?
We ask them that.
I don't know.
Say that again, sorry.
I said, is the noise that this concrete plant would produce any louder than all of these railroad tracks that go next to the school, the neighborhood, and the property we're discussing?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I mean, railroad tracks are allowed.
Am I
Do
allowed
you have an
respond
answer to that question?
Yes. So the plant itself is, it's electric plant. It's not run by generators. So it's not got all that extra noise on it. That's another reason why that's one that they chose because of that area. Possibility of trees, things of that nature. I mean, that's exactly the kind of thing that when it was platted would be dictated what we need to do to meet those standards. If that's what the city requires, then that's what the city requires. I mean, landscaping is what it is. And if, I don't recall there being any landscaping requirements like that on an industrial site, but if that's what you guys want us to make as part of the perimeter, then let's put that into what you want it to make, and you know, we can find a spot that works for everybody. The other part is we couldn't agree with you more about making sure that the fence around it was secure, because under no circumstances do we want kids getting into there. It needs to be a high enough fence, and it needs to be a secured fence that, again, protects not only the kids from getting in there, but the materials from getting messed up. So it is very crucial to do that. And just to give you a piece of information about who I have been a part of every known organization for kids. I have 4 kids of my own. I've run everything under the sun from Pee Wee football to theater departments. I'm all about the kids, and I will never do anything that I would not be a part of this if I was concerned that we weren't going to be safe. I mean, I can't promise you anything because, you know, kids are kids, but I can't promise you anything that they won't do something, but I can promise you we'll put our best effort forward to prevent any problems.
Thanks, sir. Staff, is there anything we can do as far as we're requiring any kind of additional fencing or sound mitigation? Is there anything we can add to this?
Oh, sorry, I'm looking over at legal. I believe you can add landscaping requirements under the CUP.
Yes, if there's any things that you may want to mitigate, you may want to add um, any um, any conditions as part of the approval process for the CUP. So if there's anything that um, one of the commissioners believes is would address some of the concerns, then yes, that could be part of
If that's something we wanted to add, how specific do we need to be about that?
specific.
Okay.
So you would want it to be enforceable if it's just, you know,
If we just said additional sound mitigation or additional landscaping, that's not very specific, right? Okay.
Chairman, the minimum or the requirement in the ordinance is for industrial uses is 4% of the net site area.
I'm sorry, you were cutting in and out.
4% of the net site area for industrial uses.
Okay.
Currently, looking at that picture, it doesn't look like 4%'s even there currently.
Pretty low requirement for sure.
It is.
Yeah, so I would expect landscaping along Dean Road, which abuts those houses. But how do we word that from a legal perspective to outline, you know, specifics to that detail?
I think it can be exactly what you just said, landscaping along Dean Road, the Dean Road frontage, because we do have to remember that they are planning to subdivide this property, right? Okay. So, yeah, so you can say landscaping, landscape screening along Dean Road. And what we can do, it can be, you can say evergreens or you can name that, or they can work directly with our urban forestry to determine what's the best screening.
Would it be
One
better-
one way you can do is just say enhanced landscaping as depicted on the site plan. So I mean, if they had, if you wanted them to amend their site plan prior to council, you could do a CUP with a site plan depicting enhanced landscaping along.
Dean
Yes.
Dean Road.
Dean Road.
Because if you're not exactly sure as to what type of enhanced landscaping you would want, you could tie it down to the site plan.
So if that's something we wanted to do, we could say approval of CUP 5-year time limit with enhanced landscaping screening along Dean Road required.
As depicted on, an
As
updated
depicted
site
on the
plan.
site
Yeah.
So the site plan would have to be updated then?
Yes,
So a
and resubmitted,
continuance
yeah.
would be better so they can update the site plan, correct?
Say that one more time?
They probably need a continuance to update the site plan?
I
No.
wouldn't continue it just based on, just on updating.
They would just
their
have to
site
add it
plan.
before it went to council.
Yes, they would just have to get it done before council.
So they would present that, revised site plan to staff, and we would include it in the packet for city
Right.
council.
Yeah.
So I would recommend doing that as well as along that property border with the school, because that would further reduce the risk of kids being enticed to go that direction.
What is just south of this? Do we have a bigger, can you pull up the larger map?
Yeah, I don't see the
It's Cesar Chavez Primary School.
there.
There it is, there it is. Okay. Well, looks like just south, there's really nothing.
Yeah, it's a school, and then all that green space on the right side is their fields.
Oh, that's their fields. Okay, got it. Okay,
So they're going to be out there playing.
okay, okay.
Yeah, where the hand is the school. Right there.
So you could say the enhanced landscape screening along Dean Road and southern boundary required as depicted on site plan. Does that work, Chris? Something to that effect? That language?
Yes.
Okay.
That should work.
All right.
Um,
Is that something, Commissioner Trujillo, you'd like to recommend adding?
Yeah, I can recommend that in my motion.
Do you want me to say that one more time, or did you write that down? If that's the motion
Enhanced
you-
landscaping on Dean Road as well as the southern property line as depicted in the site plan.
Okay. Any other discussion, comments, commissioners? All right, Commissioner?
Yeah, so for ZZ 25, I can't even see, 185, I motion for approval pending additional language to CUP adding enhanced landscaping on Dean Road as well as the southern end of the property line per depiction in site plan.
Second.
All right,
Commissioner, do you want that 5-year time limit?
Yes, let's go with the 5-year limit.
Second.
okay. We have a motion to approve with additional landscape screening along Dean Road and the southern boundary as depicted on a site plan with the 5-year CUP time limit by Commissioner Trujillo and seconded by Commissioner Mayo.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Rains,
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo,
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Welch,
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy,
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds,
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers,
Aye.
and Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the zoning commission votes to recommend a approval, subject to the conditions, the added conditions for this case.
Thank you. And before we call the next case, just to speed things along just a little bit, when your case is coming up next, as Ms. Sims starts bringing that up, if you would just come up to the mic to be ready, we'd appreciate that.
Thank you. Next item on the docket is ZC 25-208. Site location is 5051 South Freeway. Case manager Lynn Jordan. Owner applicant is Series C LLC, a series of Diamond Creek Investments LLC / FC Designs. Request is from E Neighborhood Commercial, I Light Industrial, and J Medium Industrial to I Light Industrial. We have not received any letters of support or opposition for this case.
All right, welcome to the Zoning Commission. If you could state your name and talk about your case.
Hello, members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. My name is Federico Canaura, the lead designer, and representing the owner, Richard Cermenio. We have the lot that we're trying to work. As you stated, we have 3 different zonings in one lot. There is the first 30 feet or 40 feet of frontage on the highway. There is an E zoning, followed by I zoning on the right-hand side north portion of it, and then J zoning on the south portion of it. The uses that the client would like to bring for future projects, both are included in J and on I. And so we figure in an effort to keep everything a little bit cleaner when it comes to all the ordinance coming together with setback restrictions, landscape requirements, and so on, it'll be better just to kind of zone everything under one that allows much cleaner kind of designs when we go to permitting. So we are proposing that we change the zoning for I, which is light industrial.
Questions, commissioners?
Okay, I'm intrigued with your 2 stated purposes, wedding venue and RV parking space. Talk to me about that.
So we are, is there a picture of the site plan by any chance that we can go to? That way I can explain it a little bit better when, no? We send a site plan. So the north portion of it there's actually a gas well in this lot, which actually creates some issues when it comes, some restrictions when it comes to the actual designing of these. We are planning on basically break the lot right on the north edge of where that pad is for the gas line. And we also have a restriction of we can't build anything within 300 feet radius from it. So the south portion of it, we're gonna do a parking RV for people cannot store their RVs at home. So it's gonna be for rental basically. And then the north portion of it, there's gonna be a wedding venue. Now with this, we need to have 2 different driveways. And with that, we come that because of the way that the freeway is located, we have restrictions also of how far we can place these driveways on. And as you can see, we have a Southway Street on the south portion of it. If we go 300 feet from there, that's probably where the first driveway is going to be located. And then 300 feet on top of that, that's where that second driveway is going to be located. And we're working with the civil in an effort to make sure that that's all as per the ordinance. But yeah, basically, we're trying to bring a roughly 8,000 to 10,000 square feet wedding venue on the north portion of it and an RV parking on the south portion of it, which both are allowed by the I zoning.
Very innovative. Thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners? All right. Thank you very much, sir. At this time, I'll close the public hearing and leave it open for discussion or motion by Commissioner Rogers.
Case number ZC 25208, I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Rogers and a second by Commissioner Trujillo.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Rains?
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo?
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Welch?
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy?
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds?
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro?
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the Zoning Commission votes to recommend approval for this case. Next item on the agenda is case number ZC 25-210. Case manager Sandy Michelle, I'm sorry. Address is 2104 R.W. Bivens Lane. Applicant is VS Builders Incorporated and Vanessa Solis. Request is from URSSO Urban Residential Stop 6 Overlay to A5 SSO One Family Stop 6 Overlay.
Welcome to the Zoning Commission. If you could state your name and who
My name is Bradrick Turner. Basically, we are requesting to have the the pedestrian light waived as far as the requirements for a pedestrian light on this particular location right here. And basically, if you look here, you can see that this house, this particular lot, is actually surrounded by a lot of A5 lots as well. And with the the urban residential area, as far as the zoning right now, we bought this particular property when it was the NEZ program, and now with the urban residential program, they've kind of changed some of the rules and regulations. Now, this particular street, we built 6 homes on it already, and basically, we bought this home when it wasn't under the same plans right now. Right across the street from it, you all have the city to deal up. If you look to the left, right across the street, there's a street light that sits right over that particular lot. Is catty corner that to the left. Every third house on that street across the street has a city light on it as well. And if you just go down the entire block, there's not one on the left side. I guess that would be considered the west side of that street. There's not one pedestrian light that's being required for this particular lot that we're actually wanting to build on. And pretty much for the UR residential urban residential areas, that's mainly for density lots and stuff. You'll see that that's a single family lot, and it's very narrow. That's a 50 by 120 lot. There's no way to go in the back for garages. The garage is going to be coming up from the front as well. But again, that's a very narrow lot, and a lot of light is right there to where it actually goes right over that. And furthermore, in this particular neighborhood, we built 8 other lots within a 5 street radius. 5 street radius. This is the first time we've actually been required to do this, and we're requesting to have that waived.
Staff, I don't see anything about a light waiver or anything regarding that on this case.
No, so that was a requirement, that's a requirement under the UR ordinance. And so once you rezone it to A5, that requirement goes away. That's a UR requirement.
Got it. So we do
So
not
should we
have to do
approve this as an A5, you won't have that requirement anymore. So it sounds like that's what you want.
That's
That's
exactly what I
correct.
want. So
Okay.
thank you all for your time.
Good deal. Thank you. Before you step down 1 second, any questions, commissioners? Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
All right. Mhm.
At this time, I will close the public hearing. We don't have anybody signed up to speak in favor or opposition, so I'll close the public hearing and leave it open to discussion or a motion. Commissioner Edmonds.
Mr. Chairman, on the case ZC 25210, I move approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Edmonds and a second by Commissioner McCoy.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Rains,
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo,
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Welch,
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy,
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds,
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers,
Aye.
and Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the Zoning Commission votes to recommend approval of this case. Next item on the agenda is case number ZC-25-211. Case manager is Beth Knight. Site location is 5904 and 5908 Etsy Street. Owner applicant is Azabash Rocinante LLC, Baird Hampton and Brown Diego Pequeno, from AG Agriculture to FR General Commercial Restricted. And we have not received any letters in support or opposition.
We do have one person signed up to speak in opposition. Welcome to the Zoning Commission. If you would state your name and let's talk about your case.
Yes, so let me start off by saying thank you for hearing me out today, Zoning Commission. I'm Diego Piceno. I represent the client in this zoning case. In this case specifically, we have 2 lots that are currently zoned as agriculture that we are trying to get zoned or rezoned as restricted general commercial for the future development of a auto repair shop. We intend to demolish all existing features on the site and to redevelop and provide an auto repair shop and the parking lot associated with that. I here have a site plan for y'all to look at. I know I discussed with the case manager about some immediate concerns, and I tried to show this on the plan. You know, a new proposed fence, possibly where the building would go, the parking lot associated, the circulation that would be associated with the site. I'm also showing the two services that we confirmed with the city of Haltom they would be providing for us. I know that was another concern brought up by the case manager. And I believe that was the majority of it. I'm here to answer any questions if you have any concerns about the site.
Any questions before we call the opposition?
Mr. Pisano, have you had any communication with the neighbors?
With the neighbors, no, but I reached out to the neighborhood organization and I reached out to the district council, the council district. The neighbor to the west, no, I have not had any communication, or at least the client hasn't.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. We'll hear from the opposition, then we'll call you back up
Awesome, thank you.
right after that. Welcome, Dan.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dan Hayes, and I'm part of the executive board of GPAC, Gateway Park Action Coalition. GPAC advocates for Gateway Park and the completion of its master plan. Although this zoning case is just under a mile north of Gateway Park, it's only about 500 feet from the Trinity River, and that should concern all of us. There are many places like Clear Fork and the River District where the river is treated like an asset. Others, like Panther Island, are working their way toward that goal after decades of past land abuse. The Trinity Trails extend through most of the city, and at times, parts of it are very crowded. People appreciate the river in ways those in the early and mid 20th century did not. In Gateway Park, some of the only natural portions of the Trinity River are found, and that continues north toward the property in this case. However, as far as the portion of the river north of the park, it's not being respected or set aside. And the last thing we need to do is to legitimize a use like an auto repair facility 500 feet from the bank of the river. In fact, you all hear a zoning case that next month is intended to protect a large undeveloped portion of the south side of the river in this same area by designating it as an O1 floodplain. In 2019, Streams and Valleys, the nonprofit which first advocated many years ago for a walking and biking system along the Trinity, released a new master plan called Confluence. There was a beautiful accompanying video with these opening lines. The Trinity River belongs to all of us. It is the reason Fort Worth was founded. It remains our grandest civic space. There's nothing grand about this case or how this area of the river is being treated, so please advocate for the river by denying this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. And the applicant, you have 2 minutes to address those concerns if you'd like.
So I guess the rebuttal would be, right now, the lot is just used for personal use, a lot of vehicle storage on the lots. If you look at the lots north and to the west, it's the same case where there's a lot of vehicle storage. East, if you were to zoom out, east and west, the overall use of the land is heavy industrial. It seems like it follows the general, what the uses of the other lands are similar and close to the site. We didn't think it would be that, well, that it would cause much harm. Right now, there's a bunch of cars on the lot. We're just proposing a vehicle repair shop. I don't know what the the general goal of the things that he has mentioned. But I mean, if there's anything we can do to, you know, keep everybody happy, um, but essentially, I don't know exactly what the overall goal is of that he mentioned and how that would affect us. And I mean, this is privately owned land, as I know right now, so not really sure what we can do or how I can, you know, I guess, please everyone in this case. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've got a question, I guess, and you're representing the property owner, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is the property owner that currently owns this property, they're the ones that's going to operate this other venture as well?
The other, what, I'm sorry?
Are they going to operate the auto repair shop?
Yes, sir.
Same
That is
owner?
that is the intended case, yes. Sir.
It appears to me, just looking at the photograph that you've been shown, the aerial, that already the use that's happening on this property is not a valid use. There's not outdoor storage of cars is not an appropriate use on AG land. Can you talk about that?
I cannot talk too much about that. I just see that from the aerial. I see vehicles on the lot. From what I understand, they might have uh, purchased the property recently. I know that there are lots to the east and north that are also zoned agricultural or PD. They are also, you know, showing the same uh, vehicle storage. I mean, it looks like this is what most of the area around is doing. And I mean, we're trying to clean it up and have some sort of vehicular shop in that area.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. At this time, I will close the public hearing and leave it open for some discussion. This is Commissioner Castro's district. Do you have any comments or questions you want to address first?
So I think my top concern is with actual engagement with the neighbors. There is a home that was shown in the visuals that is right by there. And it was pointed to us during the workshop that basically, or the work session, that has historic reasoning for why it has shaped the way that it has. But given that it's an AG agricultural, it wouldn't be a requirement to have a mitigation of noise to them bringing in this shop. So I think that's a big concern. And then the fact that it is right by the Trinity River. I think that for the future plans, it could be put to better use with the green space in the river right there.
Yep.
I will point
I
out
agree with
that
that.
Republic Recycling, which is a huge recycling plant, is right next door. And it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
You mean right to the north on
Yeah.
Etsy?
Yeah, and it curves around the top of the property.
Yeah. It appears to me that, you know, this site on the south side, Etsy, the site that we're talking about, and even the site that's not part of this case, this land is not being used appropriately already.
I don't think
And
it
being
is.
that it's the same property owner that's going to operate this new venture, and the land use is not compatible, the comp plan it doesn't match what we're trying to do at this area, it just gives me little faith that it's going to change. And it seems like a lot should change here. So I tend to agree with your comments. Any other comments, questions?
The future land use in that property and surrounding property calls for residential, I believe. And most of that, as we can see with the shaded areas, floodplain. This is pretty much the only area that the majority is not in a floodplain. So, you know, I tend to agree with the future land use map that this would be a good spot, a better use of zoning to put homes.
Yeah, and to Commissioner Castro's point, kind of protect the historic value of this land. Commissioner Castro, are you ready to make a motion?
Sure. In case CZ-25-211, I move for denial.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Castro to deny and a second by Commissioner Robinson.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Rains,
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo,
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Welch,
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy,
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds,
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers,
Aye.
and Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the Zoning Commission votes to recommend denial for this case. Next case on the docket is case number ZC-25-212, case manager Enrique Alvarez. Site location, 6605 Danziger Road. Owner applicant Lohaliva LLC and Gary Sargent. Request is from CF Community Facilities to ER Neighborhood Commercial Restricted.
Welcome to the Zoning Commission. If you could state your name and let's talk about your case.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name's Gary Sargent. I'm a principal with a company called Aspen Operating Company, and I'm representing the owner of the building, currently the property. Aspen is currently looking at purchasing the property in order to make it a corporate office. It's currently zoned CF, which would not allow office space to occupy the building. We're a small oil and gas company looking to get out of the lease rental race, I guess, and find a property that we could renovate. We only have 6 to 7 people in our office currently, and would have minimal impact on traffic patterns and stuff like that in the area. It's currently a daycare, which is vacant, and looking to get it zoned ER so we could make office space out of the building.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you very much. We have no one signed up to speak in support or opposition of this case. So at this time, I will close the public hearing and leave this open for some discussion or a motion. And this is in Commissioner Rogers' district.
Okay, on case number ZC-25212, I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rogers and a second by Commissioner Trujillo to approve this case.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Rains,
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo,
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Welch,
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy,
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds,
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers,
Aye.
and Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the Zoning Commission votes to recommend approval of this case. Next item on the docket is case number ZC-25-213. Case manager is Lynn Jordan. Site location is 120 Riverside Drive and 3115 Chenault Street. Owner applicant is Trotter Enterprises LLC. Request is from E Neighborhood Commercial / CUP 44, which is expired, and ER Neighborhood Commercial Restricted, to E Neighborhood Commercial and ER Neighborhood Commercial Restricted with a conditional use permit for retail sales and a hydraulic shop for 3 years with development waivers for an existing building and parking within the projected front yard setback, required parking within the supplemental setback, required screening fence adjacent to a residential district, automotive repair adjacent to a 1 or 2 family zoning district, auto repairs conducted on a premise that adjoins a residential district boundary, 2 bay doors facing a 1 or 2 family district, and 10% landscaping requirement, site plan included. And we have received 1 letter in support and no letters in opposition.
All right, welcome to the Zoning Commission. If you could state your name and let's talk about your case.
Sure. My name is Jeff Zimmer. I'm the manager of Automated Hydraulics, who's the tenant of this building. I was asked to come talk with you, nice people, by the president of Trotter Enterprises, which is the landholding company for this property. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We just wanted to keep doing business. When we originally started this process, I thought we were doing an extension and didn't realize that we had run out from under our existing cup, and so we're just asking to get that put back in place.
All right. We have no one signed up to speak in opposition or support of this case. Any questions for the applicant? We talked about it a fair amount in the work session. All right, no questions. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you.
At this time, I will close the public hearing and leave it open for some discussion or a motion. And this is Commissioner Castro's.
So, Mr. Simmer, I want to commend you. The one letter of support that you did receive was praising you for being a good neighbor and being flexible and engaging with them. So that's big in this community.
It is, and I appreciate what Ms. Smith did for us. We did reach out to the Riverside Alliance as well, and I talked to the moderator there. She wasn't in a position to give anything in formal writing, but we did have a good conversation. And we talked to several other entities in the area on the first go-round 3 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago, excuse me. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, on my part, I don't have any other further engagement. Any other commissioner?
No, I agree with your comments.
So in case CC-25-213, I move for approval with the 3-year limit.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Castro and a second by Commissioner McCoy.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Rains?
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo?
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Welch?
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy?
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds?
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro?
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the Zoning Commission votes to recommend approval for this case. Next case on the docket is case number 26-002. Case manager Dave McCorkadale. Site location is 5621 Parker Henderson Road. Owner applicant is Encore Electric Delivery Corporation LLC and Kimley Horn. Request is from B, 2 Family Residential, and I Light Industrial to I Light Industrial and add a conditional use permit for an electrical substation, site plan included. We have not received any letters in either support or opposition.
We do have 2 people signed up to speak in favor. Both might be the applicants, and we do have 1 person signed up to speak in opposition. But welcome to the Zoning Commission. If you would just state your name and let's talk about your case.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Rob Myers. I'm with Kimley Horn. I am the applicant of this project. I have also with me Ashton Miller with Encore. So this property is an existing substation on site. Due to the growing demand in this area, Encore needs to improve that site as well as expand the station to the east. There are 2 accesses to the site, one off Parker Henderson, the other off Maxey. After construction, no traffic impact would be, it would be very negligible. Other than that, if there are any other questions for me, I'm happy to address any.
Does Encore already own this site?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this might be a question for the representative from Encore, but is there any other suitable place for this site? I'm assuming that Encore needs this for the expansion that's going on in the area.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. It is just to essentially equalize out the load that we're seeing in the area with other stations. We have this property that we're requesting to expand on. that is largely vacant. So it's an easier type of expansion case that we, because we do own the property.
Is there any additional impact having this additional station here that would impact the surrounding neighborhood?
It does serve all of the surrounding neighborhoods in the area. So in a way, it does impact in that it provides reliable, safe electricity for the neighborhoods.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. We'll ask you to come back up and speak after we hear from the opposition. So at this time, I'd like to ask Letitia Wilborn to come up and speak.
Hi, I'm a member of Echo Heights. I'm also a member of Echo Heights Neighborhood Association. I'm a founding member of Echo Heights Stop 6 Environmental Coalition and also Fort Worth Environmental Coalitions of Communities. Our council lady, Jeanette Martinez, she has promised us that we will have no more industrial changes in this particular community. Encore has, y'all haven't had any letters because they've never met with the community. They've never met with any of the coalitions. They just, as usual, shows up to get approved. Uh, y'all don't have to approve this. This is not an eminent domain type of thing. As a matter of fact, Lufkin had Encore and they denied it. This in person is close to W.M. Green Elementary School. It is like almost directly behind it. Not only that, there's mobile home communities there. There's homes there. There's traffic area from people walking from Mansfield Highway to get to those mobile home communities. There's Prairie Dog Park right there that's close to it. And some of the problems that we're having is that there's a lot of health concerns in Echo Heights from things that are already there. And what Encore is, what they have submitted to you all, we already have concerns with cancers and Encore, y'all bring with y'all cancers, childhood leukemia, reproductive disorders, and Echo Heights have a high rate verified of miscarriages, premature deaths. There's also, because you're so close to the elementary school, the noise level is called Echo Heights because the noise vibrates and it carries. O.D. Wyatt is probably 5 miles from Echo Heights, and on a good day, when their band is practicing, you can hear the band from there to Echo Heights because of the way Echo Heights is, the sounds carry. Um, Apparently, y'all don't live there, y'all don't have kids there. If you did, you would be concerned about the kids learning at school from the noise and from the increased traffic. You would be concerned about the health and safety of the children and the community from the increased traffic. Not only that, what you all are proposing creates neurological issues. Um, there's a lot of kids in that area, in this particular area. Echo Heights has had a really serious history of people coming here to our community to rezone because against our wishes and against our knowledge, we were considered an industrial growth center. My community, which was historically from Mansfield Highway up Miller Street to 287, around 287 to 820, down 820 back to Mansfield Highway, and from Mansfield Highway back to Miller Street. It was that big. Now it is only 6 blocks of residential homes. I am currently not just me, but many people in this community, we are just currently disgusted at the way this community has been treated to go from a community that big to 6 blocks. we have only a few areas left, and these communities keep coming and coming and coming. And these companies and the city, y'all act like we're not human, like we don't exist. Like I said, Jeanette Martinez promised us that we will have no more changes in this community. And I'm hoping that she's a woman of her word, and I believe her to be a woman of her word. Because for me, a little girl that lived right next door to me had leukemia. The house right next door to that, all of her daughters had miscarriages. The house on the opposite end of the street from me, that family daughters had multiple miscarriages. We've had neighbors right next door to each other, kidney failures, kidney transplants. I myself had a rare brain event, and it was considered rare. I died 3 times. So when y'all hear me coming here and I'm passionate, it's because I have experienced it. I have a daughter who was not born with a disability, but has a disability. I have, well, my son, he's deceased now, no problem with what's going on here. My son had a condition called CTE from football. He's one of the 16 that you all hear about when they talk about CTE. But my son, when he was alive, he was an animal lover. And his animals, his pets, suffered when they went outside. In my backyard in the summer, verified 125 degrees in my backyard. We have come to the city. We've asked y'all to stop approving these people. Long as they're looking at us on the map and say, hey, we can go there, they're going to push us through. That's Echo Heights, no problem. As long as y'all keep allowing this to happen, it's going to happen. But what we're asking y'all to do is at some point just start saying no to these. This is not an eminent domain issue. This is an issue that y'all can, what Jeanette Martinez said, we won't do anymore. Y'all can do what she promised us and just say no. At some point in time, those children at the elementary school has to matter. And not only that, kids are curious. What if the kids start figuring out, hey, let's go over here and see what this property is about? Some kid end up getting hurt or getting killed because there's just so much going over there. Not only that, there's gas wells that are close to that. And I think that, where was it in,
Your final thoughts, you've hit your time.
okay, January 8th, 2025, Fort Worth, Texas. They had an explosion with Encore. Now, they have an explosion out there right by an elementary school. If a kid get hurt or they lose their lives, at some point in time, Echo Heights is going to come looking at the city for answers because too many people have died over here, too many people have suffered. We have just been shaded out for too long, busted down to just 6 neighborhoods. Just because they're Encore don't mean y'all have to approve this. Y'all can't say no for the health and safety of the residents of Echo Heights.
Thank you,
I'm
Ms. Wilborn.
tired of seeing people suffer for money's sake.
Thank you. And you have 2 minutes to rebut those comments.
So the resident brought up the health risks associated. Encore has completed studies, and we have hired outside consultants that have studied the long-term effects of EMF readings, electromagnetic fields, and those studies concluded that there are no detrimental health impacts related to substations and transmission lines. So I believe that was the first thing. As far as traffic is concerned, there will be traffic while the station is under construction for a short amount of time. We're estimating about 4 months. It will take to expand this station. After construction is completed, our district personnel do visit the site 2 to 3 times a month. So very minimal traffic will be generated as the station does expand. As far as noise levels, if anything, related to the noise, we are proposing a masonry wall along our northern boundary line to mitigate some of the noise where we are grading closer to the neighborhood. So that will help with some of the noise that may be generated. However, I will say with the station expansion and rebuild, more modern equipment and is going to be put onto the site versus what's there today. That does mitigate a lot of the noise compared to some of the older infrastructure that is currently there today. I don't know if the commission has any questions specifically to what the resident brought up. I'm happy to answer any other questions that you may have.
All right, thank you for your comments. Commissioners, any questions?
I have one. So the concerns that she's bringing up, have you had a discussion with the neighborhood or tried to reach out to them to discuss your plans with that expansion? We know that power is needed, and we know that power is required because we're growing as we're the 10th largest city in the country. But my concern is you just can't bulldoze your way through. You need to work with your community partners and get buy-in from them in order to achieve what you want to achieve and also keep the lights on. So I would make a suggestion. Maybe you might want to ask for continuous work with the neighborhood, bring your scientific facts out, and let them hear it from them and ease their concerns.
Yes, sir.
That's just a suggestion.
And to add to that, we did reach out to Councilmember Martinez, and she was scheduled to meet with us. She got called into a meeting with her day job, and so we did meet with I think her name is Miss Rachel, who does work with Councilmember Martinez, and met with her and explained our project. And she didn't have any questions or any major concerns with what we're proposing tonight.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah,
If I may, just want to get my arms around this project. What you're doing is this is a transmission station, not a production station, right? You're not producing electricity, or you're transmitting it.
So this is a substation, so it will take power from the larger 138 kV line that runs east to west along our southern boundary line. It does step down that power and connect into our distribution lines, which does directly serve the residents and businesses of Fort Worth.
So what you're going to do is you're going to put some additional equipment in there that will increase your capacity to do that.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And does this produce a lot of noise?
It does not. No, sir.
Can you say something relative that we can understand about how much noise is caused by the equipment?
So there's already a substation there, correct? And you're replacing the existing equipment while you expand at the same time.
Yes, that's
Your
correct.
equipment is going to be quieter than what's already existing.
It will be quieter as it's more modern equipment.
So basically, what's there now, it'll actually end up being quieter than the existing equipment that exists today. As far as safety goes, the equipment's already there, so expanding the capacity to what they're showing really doesn't negate the effects that are being brought up, because it's already there and you can't make them rip out main transmission lines or an existing substation.
Are there any emissions?
Not that I'm aware of, no, sir.
Are there any known safety hazards as a result of the equipment?
With all equipment, just like a car, it does require a regular maintenance, which is why we have our district offices out there that visit these sites regularly to maintain those sites. But just like with any piece of equipment, over time, there are wears and tears and things do fail, then and equipment does need to be replaced. But Encore does its best to maintain those stations in a clean and safe practice to mitigate any kind of risks that are associated with the station equipment.
And just one last question. Is there any detrimental effect to the perimeter around this facility that would be increased by what you're proposing?
The trees that you see on the northeast portion of our property, I mean, that we will not be removing any of those trees. We're not proposing to remove any trees. If anything, we are while we are expanding the station, we're improving the driveway for Maxi that connects into our station. And so to answer your question, I can't see any outside of our property, any disturbances that will occur outside of our property.
Mr. Chairman, my comment based on his response is that the neighborhood may actually be better off if this improvement is made than it is today, and it may have less noise and it may have less disruption. It seems like it's just a business decision that's dictated by the use of electricity in this area, that the capacity needs to be increased with new equipment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yep, I tend to agree. Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
I have, I guess, a question and a comment. You said that Encore did an environmental study, correct?
We did, yes.
Okay. In my suggestion, perhaps you hire an outside firm. How can Encore monitor themselves? Of course, they're going to come back and say, that there's no risk. So I think maybe TCEQ or maybe environmental study, independent study, so the residents will know if there are any risk. And then the other thing that bothers me is that you met with Ms. Martinez, but you did not meet with the neighborhoods. And I was writing, did you say that you did a traffic study?
No, I believe per the city zoning ordinance that a traffic study was not warranted based off of the trip generation.
Okay. And that you're looking at building a retaining wall, a masonry wall for noise, correct?
There will be a masonry wall kind of at the top part of the L, that most northern boundary line. And then the remainder perimeter fence around the station will be the 7-foot chain link fence.
Are you open to meeting with the neighborhoods and providing an independent environmental study?
So I'm not aware of the requirement within the city zoning ordinance that requires a neighborhood meeting be held.
So that would be a no. You have not met with anybody in the neighborhood.
No, sir.
When does this go to council, staff?
Oh, I'm sorry.
March 10th?
This goes on March 12th.
So there's almost a month
March
for
A month.
you to discuss with the neighbors, get with the council member, the neighbors to get with the council member
Sorry, March 10th.
without having to do a continuance. I tend to agree with that. I mean, this actually might be a better option just because it's newer equipment. They're only expanding the equipment by one more unit.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
I agree. But I think Encore certainly could do a better job, create some more goodwill in the community if they were to meet with these community groups. If you were to look into doing independent studies, just to not assuming you're doing anything wrong, but just so that people who've been burned before know that Encore's doing their best. They're trying to show us some independence, that they're looking out for us. Because I understand in the past, and not in this case, but where this community has been mistreated, forgive the word I'm using, but so I understand the hesitation and when they see a new zoning case, wanting to make sure that someone's looking out for their community. In this case, this particular case, I agree with the comments that after hearing more about it, you're upgrading equipment at the same time as you're expanding, and it's probably in the end better for the residents. It's newer equipment. It's quieter. You're building a wall to mitigate some of the sound where there's residential there. It just looks like north of Maxey.
I would definitely encourage the neighborhood, Echo Heights Neighborhood Association and its members to get with your council representative as well.
I completely agree, and the independent study, but the tax-paying citizens of that community deserve to be respected, regardless of whether it's needed or not, and show them the respect to talk with them, and if they have environmental issues and had health issues in the community, then that needs to be respected. So I humbly suggest that you provide an independent environmental study, and somehow meet with Councilwoman Martinez and meet with the community. Because at the end of the day, it's about them.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much. At this time, I'll close the public hearing and leave it up to some more discussion if there is any, or motion by Commissioner Castro.
Oh, one question I have is, I don't know how much time would be involved in getting an independent environmental study done. I mean, I don't know if that's a reasonable.
I would.
Excuse me, let me just finish. I'm not sure that's a reasonable requirement. I think it is reasonable to ask them to get together with the neighborhood between now and the council meeting. If that can be done, maybe we should call the person representing the neighborhood and see how often their meetings are, and if they have a meeting scheduled, or would be willing to schedule a meeting between now and the city council meeting.
Yeah, and I think why Chris was starting to jump in is we can't require things like that. We can't require they meet with the community. We can't require that they do studies. But I do think it's totally appropriate to, say, hey, it would create some goodwill if you would do these things in the future so that you don't create kind of surprise and suspicion by the people in the community. It just creates goodwill. And it's the right thing to do, I think, so. But as far as a timeline for this case, probably not, unless we were going to continue it. Your thoughts, Commissioner?
This is a really tough one. Definitely hear the concerns of the Echo Heights community. But based on the questions that Commissioner Edmonds mentioned, it looks like this is improvement to the current situation, given that it is already Encore. Based on what we hear as a commission are assigned to do, it's compatible in all three aspects for land use, for the comp plan map, and for the comp plan consistency. I think, and you would take our comments into consideration, Encore. I think that Council Member Martinez would also encourage more community engagement hands-on with this type of project. But in this case, given the purview that we have for CC-26-002, I move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Castro and a second by Commissioner Edmonds to approve.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Rains.
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo.
Nay.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds. Commissioner Robinson.
Nay.
Commissioner Pierce.
No.
Commissioner Rogers.
No.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With the vote of 6-2-4, the Zoning Commission votes to recommend approval for this case. Next case on the docket is case number ZC26-004. Case manager is Beth Knight. Site location is at 5810 Oak Grove Road. Owner applicant is Amon Carter Jr. Estate et al. And Carter Trust et al., Frost Bank, and Westwood Professional Services. Request is from A5 One Family to AR One Family Restricted and PDI Plan Development for all uses in I Light Industrial, excluding boarding home facility, correctional facility, probation or parole office, massage parlor, sexually oriented businesses, stable, riding, rodeo and boarding, recreation vehicle park, coal, coke woodyard, batch plant, bowling alley, bar, tavern, lounge, dance hall, club, commercial or business. Site plan waiver requested. We have received one letter in opposition, no letters in support.
And we do have a couple people signed up to speak regarding this case. Welcome to the Zoning Commission.
Travis Clegg with Westwood Professional Services. We're the consulting engineer and planners for this project. I'll give you a little history on the property. The Carter family foundation still owns this property. We, Westwood, and prior to that, Peloton Land Solutions, had looked at this property for different uses for the past 10, 15 years. We had numerous meetings with the neighborhoods regarding a full-on, and this goes down to Alta Mesa, by the way. The original plan had industrial on all of it at one point in time. We looked at doing single-family residential on all of it, including where you see industrial buildings. At one point in time, the sewer service wasn't compatible to handle that type of load. And so ultimately what you saw was some industrial, very large industrial buildings put on a portion of the project, and the rest of it kind of left for the last 10 years or so. Since then, I've had clients come in and look at doing a single family for rent program that ultimately couldn't get off the ground. We look at doing some smaller industrial residential type programs we couldn't get off the ground. And a lot of it goes with what we're seeing today, which is a neighborhood to the north, an A5 single family neighborhood to the north, and a J medium industrial complex, part of an industrial growth center to the south. And what do you do in that transition between those two uses? And so our question is how do you match that up? Do you put all A5 all the way up to a J industrial, J zoning on Campus Drive? That's what it is today. So I'm putting A5 homes 100 feet away from J medium industrial, or do we create some sort of transition? And that's what we came up with, was a lighter industrial across the street, Campus Drive, which is a fully developed arterial, across from J Industrial, and then a transitional residential, or more dense, before you get into the larger single-family homes. We've always been taught in comprehensive planning and things in Fort Worth, that's how you want to do things, is kind of transition your uses. I believe it's in our comprehensive plan to do so. And so that's what we're proposing. We've had several conversations. I think is there a slideshow that came with this that we turned in? There we go, perfect. We had several meetings with our neighborhood and with our council person regarding this track. And those conversations are exactly what I just presented. What do you do with this property? They don't want big, huge box industrial. We got that message. They don't want massive trucks driving up and down their neighborhood streets. We got that message. And so how do you transition that use? And so that's what we came up with, kind of a PD lighter industrial use, then into a more dense residential, and then into the less dense residential. So I believe the Neighborhood Association president is here today. There's been a lot of conversations about this. I'm sure he's had a lot of feedback, mixed feedback on this. This is our best step forward. And I want to kind of read to you guys from the report that was created by staff. It says coordinate in the PD why they don't want this use, or I say it's not compatible with the comprehensive plan. Coordinate future land uses and development types and intensity with a complete streets policy. We are on an arterial drive. We are a mile from I-35W. We are half a mile from I-20. It is a complete street program that we are building on. Locate large industrial uses along freight rail lines. There's a rail line directly to our east. Or highways, I just mentioned the highways we're by. Or within industrial growth centers. The industrial growth center is directly to our south. It's the Carter Industrial Center. Promote industrial development within the Carter Industrial Park across the street from us. Preserve and protect residential neighborhoods. We're trying to do that with the transition. Separate incompatible uses. So there's a buffer because of some easements to the north that would separate larger lots to our smaller lots. There's another buffer from a TRWD line that would separate our lots from the lighter industrial lots, and then a arterial would set the lighter industrial to the more intense industrial, and protect residential areas from encroachment from commercial and industrial uses. I will say this is A5 today. To the west is A5. That is owned by Alcon. Alcon is not a residential developer. I don't see Alcon developing a residential use next to us. And if you zoomed out of this entire area, 90% of it is J or I industrial zoning. All we're asking for is a transition from a tough industrial to a neighborhood. And I'll be here to answer any questions you have.
Any questions before we hear from the opposition?
Okay, yes, I have some questions. So help me understand this. How many, did you say 85 homes, or I'm sorry, how many homes are you building?
No, it's AR, so it's more dense residential. So A5 is what's to the north.
Right.
That's 5,000 square foot homes.
Okay.
These would be smaller homes to the south before we got into a lighter industrial. So you can kind of see a strip of trees on that north end of our property. That's where the homes would be up against the residential, existing residential.
So my question is that area, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm talking loud. That area, the density over there, those people are landlocked. You know that, right?
Correct.
35 and I-20, and so 5,000, I'm just concerned about, flooding, any type of fatalities in that community, because between maybe 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, maybe 8:30 a.m., and then people getting off work, you're going to add more to the density in that area. Did you do an appropriate traffic study?
So we'll have to do all of those traffic studies, drainage studies, water studies, sewer studies. All that has to happen with the platting process.
Okay,
And we will not be allowed to plat if we cannot make the math work.
understand. Okay, and then you say light industrial, what type of, because of course that area too is just surrounded with all of these manufacturing and they're eyesores. So I mean, what type of industrial are you doing?
We're looking at more commercial warehousing, so not big industrial complex centers like you see right there on
Right.
the picture, right? We're thinking more of the smaller type of uses, and we're trying to limit all of those other non-neighborhood type conducive uses that we wouldn't want near any neighborhood, especially if in my neighborhood too. So we would like to just remove some of the detrimental uses, but still allow a commercial warehousing type of use. And you can't just do commercial and allow some warehousing. You have to go to I and then try to reduce all the uses that don't make sense.
All right, thank you.
Don't go nowhere. So here's the thing. I used to live in this neighborhood, so I'm familiar with it. So here's the issue that I want to point out to you. On Oak Grove, there's a street that says, the sign that says no trucks allowed, right?
Yes, sir.
But they do it anyway. So that's the concern one, that they're going to cut through Oak Grove and do it. Number two, Campus Drive is already in bad shape. That section of Campus Drive, I done been down there recently. It is rough with all those trucks piling up, pounding on it. And so I can see where the community over there is probably have some concerns. In that plot where the middle, I guess, where the trees are cut out and you got some going this way, you're going to build houses, and industrial, you're going to come the other way towards the street. I don't see how that's going to work. Make it make sense to me.
How
is that going to look? How's that going to look?
We'll have a strip of residential homes up against the existing neighborhood. So
then
you'll
you're
have
gonna-
a row of houses, a street, and a row of houses.
And then you're going to have what across the street from the houses?
Then behind though, you'll have a gap for the TRWD easement where the massive water line goes through that strip. And then south of that, we'll start the industrial program. And we'll have to meet the industrial setback requirements from a residential community going forward, which we didn't have when we had the old residential neighborhood put in.
Wow.
All right, any other questions before we bring the opposition?
I want to hear what they got to say.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, Travis. All right, at this time, I'd like to bring up Crystal Womack and then Mr. Johnson.
Hello. My name is Crystal Womack, and I live in Highland Hills. In fact, I received a notice about this because I guess I'm within 300 feet of this project. So I'm here to support the current uh, the current level of zoning as A5. I'm opposed to the AR. I live on the next to last street over there in front of where the church is. And already at this point, we're already surrounded by warehouses. You've got these here that you can see. They're building something north of me that backs up to one of the homeowners' backyard. We're just inundated with warehouses. I don't think we need any more. Many of those on that map are still sitting empty. I think one time I talked to our local police officer, crimes down in our neighborhood. He told me they're responding to more theft and stuff at these warehouses that don't have a lot of activity going on. I don't want to bring that to my bedroom window, which sits here on Oak Grove Road. I I am for people, everybody who wants to own a house, have a house. I'm a licensed realtor, so I'm definitely not against home ownership. But however, in our neighborhood, our lots tend to be a little larger than these zero lots. Zero lots take away the yard on one side, because the house is sitting right there on that lot. My mom lives in Hallmark. They had some houses built over there, which look to me like they're on zero lot. So this is what happens after 5. The lots are small. A lot of people don't use their garage, or they use half the garage like I do, the other half storage. So you can't get all your cars in your driveway. So the street is lined with cars in the evening. You've got to wait for somebody to come by so you can snooker into somebody's driveway so that car can pass so you can come down. On trash days, at the corner, you've got to oot your car out because the trash cans are there where you make right and left turns. It's dangerous. The builder has a wall there announcing that neighborhood, all fine and great, but on garbage day, it's potential accidents. I'm old, so I say I'm out there trying to prevent accidents by being a good driver, but some of these younger people are zooming and flying. And that takes me back to my neighborhood. At between 4 and 6 o'clock, FedEx will run over you coming down Oak Grove Road. We asked for a light where you walk to the community center so the kids would be safe. We were denied that. I don't think that's been revisited. So we also have this traffic coming down. I think we asked for a speed bump. We haven't got that either. So now you're talking about adding light industrial. Okay, people have cars, whatever. We can deal with that. But on the other half, when I-20's backed up, when I-35 is backed up, I live on the corner. I can't get out of my driveway onto Oak Grove because of the traffic that comes when it's backed up, going back and forth. To me, I think that's a disservice. I feel like we have enough pollution over there. Both my kids developed asthma after we moved into that house. I just am not for the AR. The A5 with lots that are more compatible to what we have in our neighborhood, I'm all for that. And I also think when they're too close together, you have a lot more noise. Neighbors have a lack of privacy because, as I say, you can hear people beating their kids, and you shouldn't do that. And there's too much congestion, and then parking. And let's let somebody have a party on a street with a bunch of zero lots. It's not good. I just think people need a little more space so we can all be good neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Womack. Mr. Johnson. You've got about 2.5 minutes left.
Oh,
That's
man.
time for you.
Okay. I talk a lot, so let me talk fast.
I remember this when you and I served together.
Good afternoon. My name is Jerome Johnson, president of the Highland Hills Neighborhood Association. And as Commissioner Robinson mentioned, he did live in Highland Hills, and we've known each other for a while. So I'm glad that he's familiar with our plight. Let me lead by saying that the developer has been very amicable and polite and friendly in meeting with our community. But at the end of the day, no matter how polite you are, we just don't want this kind of development. We met last week and we met for a long time after the developer left, and we're just opposed to it for many reasons. The AR zoning is incompatible with our current A5. We just don't want any more industrial, whether it's I, J, K, whatever. As a matter of fact, we're working on a petition to present to council to request a moratorium on all industrial development within a mile of our community. Our preferred solution for this piece of land would be, since it's adjacent to Highland Hills Park, is for the city to buy it and just make it parkland to absorb some of the pollution that we are already surrounded by. We are surrounded by I-35, we're surrounded by I-20, industrial developments and warehouses, and then you want to add more? No, we're sick and tired of this. We are inundated with pollution, traffic, and noise, and we're totally against this, unequivocally opposed to any industrial development of any kind. So we feel like it's time for the city of Fort Worth, the zoning commission, and the city council to side with us and protect our community, because although we understand that this land needs to be used in some way, to us it represents corporate greed, unjust zoning, and environmental racism. So we are unequivocally against it. And I can't stress that enough. I did good.
You did great, Mr. Johnson.
Overdo my time.
Mr. Johnson, before you leave, if I may ask you a question. So are you opposed to the AR zoning?
No, I'm not. Yes, I am opposed to AR, absolutely, because if you look at the map of Highland Hills, it's A5. Everything is A5. So the AR is incompatible, as Ms. Womack has eloquently stated. Those small homes just, they will create more traffic, noise. As she stated, the lots are small. That's going to end up creating a situation where people park on the street. And, you know, when that happens, especially if you have someone flying down that street, all kinds of accidents can happen. So no, that's a no for us, no to the AR as well.
Any other questions?
Yes.
You got a question, Ms. Pierce? No? Okay.
I do.
You're thinking. Okay.
If this were to be developed in A5 lots and homes, whether they be comparable in size to the lots above it, or even a tad smaller, but not AR size, would you want to buy a home that backed up to Campus Drive or Oak Grove?
Well, I mean, we're already in close proximity to Campus Drive and Oak Grove now.
I mean, but would you want your backyard fence being that low?
No,
I think
what I would say is if we were going to develop that A5, there would need to be some green space buffer adjacent to Campus Drive. Therefore, the backyard wouldn't be adjacent to campus. There's ways to make that work. So that's, yeah, I get your question, but there's ways to make it work for the community.
All right. Thank you very much. Good to see you. All right, we have 2 minutes. Travis?
Thank you again. And again, a lot of the concerns we've heard for years, and to be honest, are hard to get around, right? So a lot of traffic, a lot of industrial development. Again, we're right next to the Carter Industrial Growth Center. I mean, that's what you see, the north half of it. Only A5. So again, I think Commissioner Welch brought it up. It's okay to have A5 lots across the street from J, a heavier industrial, but it's not okay to have smaller lots next to a lighter industrial. So today it's A5, so we can go out there today and build A5 lots. Technically, based on state law, I can go build 3,000 square foot lots. And that's not what we want to do here. We want to be good neighbors. State law allows us under, I think it's SB 15, to build 3,000 square foot lots in A5 zoning. We don't want to do that. We want to be neighbors and be responsible through a transition of existing homes towards the J industrial. I get the traffic. I got 3 teenage kids driving in my neighborhood. I have an A5 lot in North Fort Worth. It's in and out when people park on the street. I feel it too. People, in my opinion, just need to slow down and take their time and get through the neighborhood. I wish the streets were a little bit different sizes to allow for more passing cars. Parking would be handled during a platting situation. We have to park the project. And ultimately, the city of Fort Worth staff and leadership have been asking us and begging us to provide more affordable housing in Fort Worth. I hear it every day. I hear it from the state level to the city level. Please bring more affordable, small houses to our community, build them on existing streets, build them on areas where we have existing utilities, stop this urban sprawl. And here we go, we bring it to you guys, and it's always going to meet resistance against an existing traditional neighborhood. I get it. I may do the same thing. But in this case, we're trying to be as clear and upfront as we can and do a transition between the existing neighborhood and J Heavy Industrial, a mile from the highway.
Thank you, Travis. All right. Commissioners, questions for the applicant or for the opposition?
Travis, can I catch you before you get too far away? You're asking for a waiver for a site plan. Can you talk about that?
Specifically to the industrial site. So we don't know, we don't have a user. We don't know if it's going to be 5 really small buildings, 3 medium-sized buildings. I do know our truck traffic will get on Campus Drive. We don't have the ability legally to be on Oak Grove, although people use it, as Mr. Robinson said. Yeah, we don't have a user. And if I had a user, I would have a site plan and I would show some pretty trees and curb cuts and the whole 9 yards for you, but we don't have that user yet. So if I showed you a site plan, it would be incorrect. I'd have to come back before Planning Commission and you guys to show a revised site plan every time it changes.
The reason I ask is you're trying to pull off a balancing act to check off as many boxes as you can for as many people as possible. And so for me, that kind of put some hesitation in my step, because to do that balancing act, to make a proposal to show what you can do and do the things that you need to do, I think that would be helpful.
So in our meetings, fair question, or fair statement. In our meetings with the neighborhoods, we've shown some exhibits of what we're kind of thinking of. I didn't want to show in a public presentation and elude that this is what is going to happen to a community and then backtrack and get a lot of flack for that too. So they've seen some land plans. But again, we don't know what the end user is going to do.
Thank you, Travis. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So you have done presentations to the area
Yes, ma'am.
neighbors?
Yeah, we've
You've
made
done-
several presentations to the neighborhood association.
Okay, and then we still only got 1 letter of opposition.
Yeah, I think there was a slide up there earlier that showed the public participation. I think they had 2 community meetings, a separate meeting with the council office. So definitely commend you for that part. You've been here all afternoon, and we've kind of got onto a few about not doing that. So we appreciate you.
I learned my lesson not to show up to a neighborhood association. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All right. Thanks, Travis.
Mr. Chairman, I find myself, after hearing everyone speak, in support of my fellow commissioners, Pierce and Robinson. I think they have a pretty good grip on this area and what needs to be done. And to me, Campus Drive is kind of a natural demarcation point where one side is one use and the other side is another use. So I'll be supporting my commissioners.
That's true.
Let me close the public hearing real quick, and then we can, yeah, go ahead, sir. Commissioner Robinson.
So, yeah, like I said, I am familiar with this area, and uh, those industrial warehouses, I've passed by them, and I don't see them being used. In fact, they're vacant. So now you're going to add more to it, more vacant industrial uses there. I don't see the purpose of having more industrial, and then you ain't even filling up the ones here. And so, just a little background: the Carters did have this was land they used to grow wheat on it, because there used to be wheat growing all the time, and then they stopped growing the wheat, and then they sold it off. So now this is what the sell-off is. They're selling this off, and so they built these industrial sites. But I don't even see these industrial sites being used as they're sitting right now. So, and Campus Job, like I said, the street is terrible. It is terrible. I don't even go down there. I avoid it.
Yeah, these are tough ones for me because you've got this pretty heavy industrial use on the south side of campus, and some sort of transition that we always try and look for would be nice. Well, what does that look like? And we hear parks a lot. Put a park behind it, and that's the city. I don't know if the city has the money for that. Always, we hear that a lot, though. Very ideal in a lot of cases, but is it practical? Yeah. I don't know. It sounds like Commissioner Pierce, you've got
Okay,
some.
so now you put it back on me.
Eventually.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, like I say, the developer, the Amon Carter, and Westwood Professional Services, you've done a wonderful job working with the community, and I know they appreciate all the transparency and feedback. But with that area being so limited in density and space and so inundated with industrial already, and I tend to listen to the cries of the people and how they feel and how they have to live there. And I do understand that there are steps that you need to take before you can do a traffic study to truly see. But we know with common sense, if you go over there, between 3 and 5 o'clock and 6:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, these individuals, they can't get out of their houses. So adding, changing from A5 to AR and making the lot smaller and adding more density in the area, I don't feel is a proper land use. And I think even with, safety and health in that area. So um, I'm ready to vote. Okay. In the case of ZC 26004, I vote to deny this case.
Second.
All right, we have a vote to deny by Commissioner Pierce and a second by Commissioner Mayo.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines?
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo?
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Welch?
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy?
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds?
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro?
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the Zoning Commission votes to recommend denial for this case. Next case on the docket is case number ZC-26-005. Case manager is Dave McCorkadale. Site location is 4001 Ohio Garden Road. Owner applicant Stockyards North LLC, Sean Shanklin, PE, and Chris Rapkoch, Kimley Horn. Request is from PD 69 and PDSU for a temporary vehicle storage facility as amended. Site plan approved. 2, PDI plan development for all uses in I light industrial, excluding gas and drilling production, correction facility, massage parlor, sexually oriented businesses, data center and permanent asphalt or concrete batch plants with development standards for front yard landscaping, outdoor storage within the 50-foot supplemental building setback, not providing the 20-foot landscape buffer yard, and use of an existing metal screening fence in place of required masonry screening wall or wood fence, site plan included. Commissioners, the applicant has requested to continue this case to the next month's meeting.
And you are the applicant. If you would just go ahead and say your name and let us know, are you trying to seek a continuance at this point?
Yes, my name's Kyle Polson. I'm the owner of Stockyards North. We had made attempts to visit the two communities, little neighborhoods right next to us with no opposition. But since then, Councilman Flores let me know that he got some feedback, and we've been working with our case manager. We thought we were on the same page, but I think we need some more work with the neighbors. So we would like to continue till next month.
Okay. And next month will be enough time for you in our March meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's no one signed up to speak in support or opposition. Any questions? Commissioner Trio?
Good job.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll close the public hearing.
Thank you.
And if there's no discussion, Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes, so for ZZ 26-005, I move to continue to next month's meeting.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to continue to the March meeting by Commissioner Trujillo and a second by Commissioner Welch.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Rains?
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo?
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Welch?
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy?
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds?
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the Zoning Commission votes to recommend a continuance of this case to next month's Zoning Commission meeting. All right. Next case on the docket is zoning case 26-006. Case manager is Beth Knight.
This one's going to be continued.
This is also going to be continued. So, did you want me to?
Since this was noticed improperly, we can't discuss this case, so this will just be continued to March 11th.
That is correct.
So no public
Correct.
hearing will be
Yeah.
held.
There's no vote needed on a notice issue.
Got it.
Thank you.
So we'll move to 007.
All right. This one. Next case on the docket is case number C26-007. Case manager is Enrique Alvarez. Site location is at 2928 Burton Avenue. Owner applicant is Vaquero Binkley Partners LP, Vaquero Ventures, and Patrick Noonan. The request is from PD 1342, Plan Development for all uses in E Neighborhood Commercial, excluding liquor or package store and gasoline sales, site plan waived, to A51 Family. And we have received one letter in opposition, no letters in support.
And we have no speakers signed up for this case. Welcome to the Zoning Commission. If you would, just state your name and tell us about your case.
Yes, my name is Patrick Noonan. I'm with Vaquero Ventures. We're the current owner of this lot. Just a quick background, very brief. When we developed the Raising Cane's to purchase that property that you see there, it was the owner of all of those lots. The only way we could purchase enough land was to include that lot. It was not needed for that development. So we then moved on to purchase. So after that development was complete through the rezone process, we purchased the lot next to it where there's an existing Chipotle Mexican grill that we just developed there. Before that Chipotle came to fruition, the plan was to purchase all of those single family lots adjacent to the west of that lot you see there for a car wash development. That never came to fruition essentially, but it ended up being rezoned from A5 previously to the PD now. And so now there's essentially no commercial use for that property. We're here to rezone it back to A5 single family to essentially either build a spec home or sell it to a builder that would like to do so. and I'm here for any questions.
Any questions, commissioners? All right. Thank you very much for your
Thank
testimony.
y'all. Appreciate it.
At this time, I will close the public hearing and leave it open for some discussion or motion by Commissioner Pierce. You have any thoughts about this?
No.
It's interesting, I was reading the, and maybe this is something if you're watching at home, maybe pay attention to this. It looks like the letter of opposition we received was, it appears to be written by AI. And I think it kind of misunderstood the case because it seems like we're trying to approve this as a PD and we're not. We're moving it from PD to A5 single family. So no issue with y'all using AI to help, but make sure that once it spits something out, maybe give it a once over and make sure it agrees with what you're trying to do because this is pretty confusing. But this seems like this makes perfect sense in this case to me.
Agree, yeah.
It's like good for the community, good for the applicant.
I agree. Okay, thank you. In the case of ZC 26007, I move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Pierce and a second by Commissioner Rogers.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Mayo.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the Zoning Commission votes to recommend approval for this case.
And before we close, just a quick acknowledgement and thanks to you, Ms. Sims, for your work with us. And it's sad that you're going to be leaving us so quickly, but we're happy for you that you're moving on to
Chairman, I think she left on purpose.
I'm not quite leaving. I will be here.
She left us on
No,
purpose.
we know you'll still be around. We'll miss you up here with us. But also just congratulations to Dave. And Dave, we have all the faith in the world in you, and we look forward to having you up here with us next month. So thank you all, and we will adjourn this meeting at 3:12.
And Dave, don't you go nowhere.
Yeah, Dave, don't let us scare you off.